Due to these factors, we are declaring a state of emergency and instituting a travel ban starting at 9 p.m. this evening and ending at 12 p.m. tomorrow. The state of emergency closes the streets, highways, and bridges of New York City for all traffic, cars, trucks, scooters, and e-bikes, with some specific exemptions for essential and emergency movement. We are asking New Yorkers to avoid all non-essential.
New York City is used to movement, noise, and constant motion. But when a powerful blizzard strikes, even the city that never sleeps is forced to pause. Streets fall silent, airports shut down, and daily life is replaced by emergency alerts and weather warnings. This is the story of how a single winter storm can freeze one of the world's busiest cities, and how it fights back. Storm hits the city. The blizzard arrived with heavy snowfall, fierce winds, and dangerously low visibility. Forecasters had warned residents days in advance, but the speed and intensity of the storm still caught many by surprise. Snow piled up quickly across all 5 boroughs, turning streets into white corridors and making travel nearly impossible. As the wind strengthened, conditions became life-threatening. Visibility dropped to near zero in some areas. Roads turned slick with ice beneath the snow. What normally takes minutes, crossing a bridge, driving a few blocks, catching a bus, suddenly became risky. Emergency services began receiving calls about stalled vehicles, minor collisions, and people stranded in freezing temperatures. City officials declared a state of emergency, urging residents to remain indoors. For a city that thrives on movement, the order to stay home marked a dramatic shift. Offices closed, schools suspended classes, and businesses locked their doors. The storm had effectively pressed pause on New York. Travel ban in effect. As conditions worsened, authorities imposed a travel ban on non-essential vehicles. The goal was simple: keep roads clear for snowplows, ambulances, and other emergency responders. Officials warned that unnecessary driving could block critical routes and slow rescue efforts. Under the travel ban, only essential workers, medical staff, first responders, utility crews, and certain government employees were permitted to travel. Police set up checkpoints and reminded drivers that violating the order could result in fines or penalties. The message was clear: the roads were for emergency use only. The decision was not taken lightly. New York's transportation system is the lifeline of the city's economy. Shutting it down, even temporarily, affects millions. Yet officials argued that safety had to come first. Fewer cars meant fewer accidents and faster snow removal. It also reduced the risk of people becoming stranded in freezing conditions. Public transportation services were limited as well. Some subway lines continued operating with reduced schedules, but buses in heavily impacted areas were suspended. Commuters were advised to monitor official updates and avoid unnecessary travel. The usual rush-hour crowds were replaced by near-empty platforms and quiet stations. Airports faced significant disruption. Hundreds of flights were delayed or canceled as runways were covered in snow and winds made takeoffs unsafe. Travelers found themselves waiting for updates, rebooking tickets, or postponing plans altogether. Airlines warned that recovery could take days, as aircraft and crews needed to be repositioned once conditions improved. Despite the inconvenience, many residents supported the travel ban. Past storms had shown how quickly roads could become gridlocked. Vehicles stuck in deep snow not only endangered drivers, but also blocked snowplows from clearing main routes. By limiting traffic early, officials hoped to prevent chaos later. Life under snow. With movement restricted, daily life shifted indoors. Grocery stores experienced a rush before the storm, as residents stocked up on food and essentials. After the snowfall intensified, most neighborhoods grew quiet. The usual sounds of traffic and construction were replaced by the steady hum of wind and the scrape of snow against windows. For some, the storm brought moments of calm. Families stayed home, children watched snow accumulate outside, and social media filled with images of white-covered landmarks. Yet behind the peaceful scenes lay real challenges. Power outages were reported in certain areas as heavy snow weighed down utility lines. Utility crews worked around the clock to restore electricity in freezing temperatures. Hospitals prepared for weather-related injuries, including slips on icy sidewalks and cold exposure. Homeless shelters expanded capacity to protect vulnerable residents from the bitter cold. Community organizations coordinated to check on elderly neighbors and those living alone. The storm also revealed the city's dependence on careful planning. Snow removal equipment had been pre-positioned before the first flakes fell. Salt trucks treated major highways in advance. Communication between weather agencies and city departments allowed for coordinated action. Even so, the scale of the blizzard tested resources. Post-storm cleanup plans. Once the snowfall began to slow, a new phase started: cleanup and recovery. Clearing a city as large and dense as New York requires precision and manpower. Thousands of sanitation workers and snowplow operators were deployed in shifts to work continuously. The first priority was clearing primary roads, major highways, bridges, and routes used by emergency vehicles. These arteries are critical for restoring movement. Snowplows pushed heavy layers of snow to the sides of roads, while salt and de-icing materials were spread to prevent refreezing. After main roads were passable, crews moved to secondary streets and residential neighborhoods. This phase often takes longer, as narrower streets and parked cars make plowing more complicated. In some cases, snow had to be loaded onto trucks and transported away, especially in areas where space was limited. Sidewalks presented another challenge. Property owners are typically responsible for clearing the sidewalks in front of their buildings within a set time frame. Failure to do so can result in fines. City inspectors monitored compliance, aiming to reduce slip-and-fall accidents. Officials emphasized that cleanup is not immediate. Even after snow stops falling, icy patches can remain for days. Repeated cycles of melting and refreezing create hidden hazards. Residents were urged to walk carefully, wear proper footwear, and allow extra time for travel. Airports began the complex process of reopening runways. Snow removal teams cleared taxiways and de-iced aircraft. Airlines worked to reschedule passengers and manage backlogs. Travelers were advised to confirm flight status before heading to the airport, as delays could continue during the recovery period. Beyond the visible snow, the blizzard carried economic consequences. Businesses lost revenue during closures. Restaurants, retail stores, and small enterprises felt the strain of paused operations. Daily wage workers faced missed income, adding financial pressure to an already challenging winter season. Airlines and transportation companies also absorbed significant losses due to cancellations and delays. Supply chains experienced temporary disruption, affecting deliveries and logistics. While large corporations may recover quickly, smaller businesses often feel the impact more deeply. Yet New York's resilience is well known. Past storms have demonstrated the city's ability to adapt and rebuild. Emergency preparedness plans, refined over decades, aim to reduce long-term damage. Each winter event becomes a lesson for future response strategies. Community solidarity often emerges during crises. Neighbors help dig out cars, share supplies, and check on one another. Volunteers support local shelters and food banks. In the face of harsh weather, the city's social fabric is tested and often strengthened. New York has faced blizzards before and will face them again. Each storm brings disruption, but also a reminder of collective responsibility. When authorities and residents act together, respecting travel bans, supporting cleanup efforts, and prioritizing safety, the city recovers faster. The blizzard may have silenced New York for a moment, but it did not defeat it. Beneath the snow lies a system designed to endure, adapt, and rebuild. In the end, the storm becomes part of the city's ongoing story. A challenge met with preparation, discipline, and resilience. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Epoch Dive for more amazing documentaries.